I want to know the truth about what happened in Waco, Texas on May 17th, 2015 at the Twin Peaks restaurant. I want to know facts. I want to see evidence. I want to know the truth. Now, I know more than most. I've personally talked to witnesses that saw firsthand and witnessed exactly what went down in Waco, Texas. They heard the shots. They saw the pandemonium. They saw the blood. They saw what happened. They contacted me because they wanted some advice. And as an attorney, I listened to them, and with their permission, there's some things I'd like to share with you. I'm also extremely frustrated at the Waco Police Department and the fact that they are not releasing a lot of the evidence to the press. They do not trust us, and they don't want us to see the evidence in this case. And don't give me any baloney about them preserving the integrity of the investigation. If they were trying to preserve the integrity of the investigation, they wouldn't be giving other facts to the press. They're giving multiple facts to the press, only those things that they can possibly twist. I'm not saying they are, but it's something they could possibly do, possibly twist to their favor to justify their actions. Those are the only pieces of evidence and what they're claiming to be facts that they're telling the press, that they're disclosing. If they were trying to guard the integrity of the investigation, they wouldn't say anything. They would simply say, "We're investigating. We'll get back to you." That's not what happened from day one. Hours afterwards, they made statements that they've now backtracked on even. There are statements they've made that they've backtracked on with the press. There are statements they made that are completely false. 100% verifiable, completely false. Example number one. Get to Google. Google Texas Confederation of Clubs. It's a political organization. It's an arm of the National Coalition of Motorcyclists that's it's an organization in its 30th year. For 30 years, the National Coalition of Motorcyclists and its offshoots, the confederations of clubs for multiple states, have been a political organization in this country. Grassroots organization that is for constitutional rights and defending the rights of bikers. Just Google it. Look for yourself. Click on the calendar in the upper right-hand corner of their website. You'll see May 17th, there was a regional meeting. You'll also see that 10 days earlier, there was the 30th annual national meeting. The regional meeting on May 17th, 2015 was to report on what happened at the national meeting. So to say that this organization or this meeting at Twin Peaks was anything but a political meeting, the same as any Republican or Democrat or Libertarian or Green Party meeting that happens all over this country, is poppycock. It's false. Look at it for yourself. Just Google it. Google it and see. 2 days after this shooting, 2 days, on May 19th, the Waco City Council gave an award and a proclamation to representatives of the Texas Confederation of Clubs. The Waco City Council gave them an award for their work, for their advocacy, for their work with bikers' rights and motorcycle safety. 2 days after. This was the Waco City Council. The government, the city of Waco, knows full well that the Texas Confederation of Clubs is a political organization. Still, immediately after the shootings, Waco Police Department comes out and throws out all kinds of lies about what was happening and what was there at that meeting. It's It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. But please look for yourself. Just Google it. Heck, check me as a source. My name's Stephen Stubbs, Stephen Stubbs. They call me Bowtie. Google Stephen Bowtie Stubbs. See what ties I have to the biker community. See which clubs I've represented. Don't just take my word for it. Check my sources. Check out what I'm telling you and look for yourself. I know for a fact, 100% fact, that the Waco Police Department had access to the videos of what happened on May 17, 2015, immediately after it happened. The Twin Peaks, they did not have video of the parking lot. They had video of the outside of their restaurant and the inside of their restaurant. However, Don Carlos Restaurant, the restaurant right next to Twin Peaks, has the complete video of what happened in that parking lot. They have everything. It's been confirmed. We know this to be a fact. Police should have looked at the freaking video. Instead of arresting everybody who wouldn't talk to police, that's another subject we'll get to. But instead of arresting everybody who wouldn't talk to the police, like the district attorney said that was done in an interview, instead of that, why don't they go and look at the video and look at who took cover? Look who was there. They're easily identifiable. They're wearing freaking patches. They have patches. They have vests. Different clubs, all kinds of different clubs. Women's clubs, Christian clubs, military clubs. Yes, 1%er clubs too. But there's all these people who have been thrown in this huge group and are all being charged for conspiracy. And it's unbelievable. Why in the world didn't they, or maybe they did, I don't know. Why didn't they just go look at the freaking video? Video doesn't lie. Video shows who had a gun, who didn't have a gun. When this stuff went down, who ducked for cover? That's what they should have done. And they should have made arrests based on that video. My question, why don't they release the video? They're releasing all kinds of other information, but the Waco Police Department won't release this video. Why? Makes no sense. They're not protecting the integrity of the investigation. If they were, they wouldn't be talking at all. This makes no sense. Please just show us the video. Show us what's going on. Now, I've talked to 3 eyewitnesses of what happened. They have their perspective. And putting things together, I know certain things. But let me just tell you what they've said. Okay? All three of them have said they went to this political meeting. None of them are in an outlaw motorcycle gang. None of them. I talked to you about this whole gang tag, also. But still, they are from mom and pop clubs. Mom and pop clubs. They arrived immediately when the police were blocking off the parking lot. I talked to a witness that said he heard one loud bang. One. No more than one. Just one loud bang. And that immediately afterwards, he heard, he couldn't even count how many. Suppressed rounds. Suppressed rounds. That means it's a rifle with a suppressor on it. A silencer. Suppressed rounds. Now, the only people that had rifles with suppressed rounds were the police. They were the only ones. Any bikers that had any weapons on them had the handguns. Something that is very loud and would not be suppressed. But they heard one shot that was not a suppressed round. And then a flurry. They said it was raining suppressed rounds. That's what eyewitnesses have told me. One eyewitness actually didn't even hear the first shot. He didn't remember hearing the first shot. All he heard was suppressed rounds. Another eyewitness saw the police entering the parking lot shooting with silencers on the end of their AR-15s or MP4s. The fact of the matter is that the police had a lot of shots. A lot. We can only verify one shot that was done by the bikers. One. That's from eyewitness testimony. I don't pretend to know everything, right? I can come to some conclusions. The coroner's reports that were released, most of the people that died received a shot to the head and a shot to the center mass. Some in the abdomen, some in the chest. That is Tactical 101. That's what they do in the military. That's not something that bikers can just do easily and shoot in the head and in the chest. It doesn't happen. We know that a lot of these people were killed by the police. Let me talk to you about Jesus Rodriguez. I know him as Mohawk. 65-year-old man, a veteran, a decorated war hero. I met him 2 years ago at a National Coalition of Motorcycle event in Houston, Texas. What a great guy. All he cared about was riding his motorcycle, his family, and protecting people's rights. Knowing and protecting people's constitutional rights. That's what he was all about. He was not a member of any club. He had no patch on his back. None. And Mohawk was killed. I know Mohawk. I've talked to Mohawk. I know what he's all about. He was not a member of any club. I pray for his family. He was killed, a shot to the head and a shot to the center mass. We can draw all kinds of conclusions. I'm not going to pretend to know everything. But those are the facts. That's what you can look up in any report. Google it. Just Google it. Look for yourself. You're going to see coroner's reports that show that he is a 65-year-old man, Jesus Rodriguez, decorated Vietnam veteran, not a member of any kind of club, and he was shot and killed, most likely by police officers. Now, another thing that's driving me crazy is the district attorney. The Waco district attorney went on camera, gave interviews to where he said and defended holding these 170 bikers, specifically because they weren't, quote, acting as victims, unquote. If they weren't talking to police, that's what victims do. So if they're not going to act like victims, we're not going to treat them like victims. Did this guy even go to law school? I mean, seriously, did he even pay attention in constitutional law class? After this happened, all these people were being detained and then were being questioned. I'm sure, according to the law, they're supposed to be Mirandized. So the police come up to you. Let's just say you were in their position. The police come up to you and they tell you, just like they do in television, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows that. If you don't know that, you've never watched TV. The police tell you this. And then you exercise your right that they just told you? You say, okay, I want my attorney. I'm not going to talk to you. It's a constitutional right. It's the right thing to do. If you're being detained and questioned regarding a crime, especially when there's 27 people shot, 9 people dead, and the police come to you, Mirandize you, and want to ask you questions because you're a suspect. Now, forget the fact that they're not going over and actually just looking at the video. If that happens to you, what are you going to do? The right thing to do is to invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent and not say anything. That's the correct play. That's what you're supposed to do. And you're not supposed to be detained unless there's some kind of suspicion that you've committed a crime, specific and articulable facts. They can't just have a hunch. They can't just say you're there. You can only be detained if there's a suspicion. Now, if there's evidence that you probably committed that crime, probable cause. It's not a high standard. If they have evidence that you were probably a part of that crime, they can arrest you. What they can't do is they can't arrest you specifically and only because you exercised your constitutional rights. It drives me nuts. Did this guy even go to law school? This is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Why don't they just go look at the freaking video, for heaven's sake? Come on. This is nuts. Absolutely nuts. It's been a sham from the beginning. This investigation has been in shambles from the very beginning. And it started when they came to the press and they started spouting off all kinds of stuff that they didn't know anything about. Now, this whole gangs thing. Let me talk about gangs, okay? These are motorcycle clubs. These are not street gangs. The police have tagged a few of them as equivalent to street gangs and call them outlaw motorcycle gangs. They're clubs. I've been with them and talking to them and helping them for years. I know them. My kids play with their kids. For heaven's sake, somebody that's in one of the police's designated outlaw motorcycle clubs was at my home talking with my children, helping me, doing service for me just this last weekend. I know these people, and I know that as an organization, they are not gangs. I'm not saying some don't commit crimes, okay? It's a brotherhood, and they're brothers who love each other regardless of what they do. If you have a brother or a sister and they do something wrong, do you just shun them? Do you not associate with them? Do you kick them out of your life, or do you love them? And do you be a brother or a sister to that sibling? That's what this is about. Now, if someone's involved in the activity, I've seen people involved in criminal activities, and when their club finds out about it, they get rid of them, right? They give them a chance to change. They try to help them. But if they continue going on, sometimes they don't get to be part of that club. But until that happens, they love these people, and they have them in their organization. And they just don't throw them away simply because they've done some bad things in their past. Look, some people might look at this and say, Stubbs, you're biased, right? I only know what I know. Okay. I don't profess to know everything, but I know facts. I want to see the facts. This video needs to be released. We need to know what actually happened here. And the police need to stop saying false things on television, because it's hurting a lot of people, a lot of really good people. My name's Stephen Stubbs, and this is the truth about Waco, Texas, Twin Peaks, May 17th, 2015.